Hi, I am sitting outside, so it might be a little noisy, but I told you in the email that I wanted to tell you about some actionable steps you can take. I don't need to wear my glasses, that you can take for self-care that will help you lose weight. And I said there's three. Well, I think there's more if you really add them up. But anyway, number one, we have a stress hormone called cortisol. All right, here we go. My neighbor's cutting a tree down. Women who have high chronic stress levels have an increased amount of this hormone, stress hormone called cortisol. This hormone's been implicated as a factor in motivating food intake. So even if you're really not even hungry, it motivates us to eat. But there's more to it than just being stressed. A single meal that is high in animal protein can nearly double the level of cortisol in your blood within about a half an hour of eating that meal. So there was a test done, a study done, and here's an example. Give someone a meal of crab meat, tuna fish, cottage cheese, and their stress hormones just shot up. But instead, give those same people a meal like barley soup and a vegetable stir fry on rice, over rice, and the stress hormones went down. So, too much animal protein, increase. Protein coming from whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, lower cortisol levels. But there's even something more important when we look at this. If you give those high animal people the high consumption of the animal fat foods, excuse me, if you give them some greens, it blunts the cortisol effect. So it's obvious we've got to eat our vegetables. We've got to eat greens. Greens are things like kale, spinach, and chard. So there's a link to this with weight gain. There's actually a disease caused by having too much cortisol in coursing through your veins, and that's called Cushing's syndrome. And they found that even in normal weight women, through chronic stress, they shoot these cortisol levels up, and as a result, it contributes to obesity. So, tip number one, consider how much animal protein you're eating. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Number two, we have to monitor what we take into our mouths. You are bombarded with negative influences all day long. It could be things like the radio, TV, social media. It could be parties and functions, things like that. Well, we already said that cortisol motivates us to eat, right? Even when we're not hungry. But that stress hormone not only makes us eat more, it makes us eat worse. So there's two things you can do. Get the junk out of your house. Get the junk food gone. You don't need it. Nobody else in the family needs it. And if they do need it, it needs to be out of your area in the kitchen, out of sight, so you don't have access to it. And then number two, ask yourself before you eat, am I hungry? And if you do not get a resounding yes, you probably aren't. So don't eat. Do something different. One thing you can do is hydrate. We found that people who are a little bit low in hydration levels think that they're hungry and they're not. So let's have some water. Okay. Another thing we can do is to just slow down, take a break. Sit down for 15 minutes once a day and relax your mind and your body. Have something soothing to drink, maybe a cup of tea or coffee. And but if the coffee is caffeinated, then it needs to be probably before 1 in the afternoon. But this gives us a little time to relax, a little time to focus on what needs to be done the remaining portion of the day. And we sit up from that little time frame of rest in a better frame of mind. Okay, so honestly, sitting down and relaxing is okay to do. Getting a good night's sleep. That is self-care at its finest. So, what is a good night's sleep? 7 to 8 hours a night has been associated with packing less pounds on than 5 hours or less. So, if we don't sleep enough, believe it or not, we pack on the pounds. Now, it might not be the next day, but over time. So, if you are in a repetitive lack of sleep cycle, even if you feel like I'm fine with 5 hours. This is what the studies show on people. I don't read animal studies. I'm more interested in women, people studies. So what can we do about getting more sleep? Go to bed on a regular schedule, wake up on a regular schedule. So 7 days a week, try to get in bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. Don't nap. That 15-minute sit-down break is not a nap. Avoid caffeine, any stimulants before bed. So that means alcohol, even excessive alcohol. You think you sleep great, you don't. That's why that's part of the hangover process, right? So avoid alcohol right before bed. There's a lot more that can be said about self-care. And again, it's not self-indulgence. It's not being selfish. It's taking care of yourself. And there's so much more that we can discuss as you follow your transformational path to weight loss. And I get into these subjects with my clients more in the program Weight Loss for a Woman's Personal Best Nutrition Plan that I wrote. If you're interested in learning more about my program and helping you to lose weight, I'm here for you. Just click reply to the email and write, I'm interested, and I'll get back to you via email. Okay. All right. I hope you have a great day. I hope my neighbor's chainsaw wasn't too annoying for you. I'll see you next time. All righty. Bye-bye.